Hello and welcome to IELTS online classes with Banke. If you missed joining the live masterclass on Zoom, which held on Friday, this is a recorded lesson so that you can learn one or two things that was discussed with those who were present at the live session, and that can help you in your write-ups. This is a full task review series on writing module. Today I will be vetting this task written by one of the students in the VIP class, and I hope that you learn one or two things to help you write your academic tasks or general training tasks such that you will be able to get a band 7+. So in task 1 of the writing module for academic training, you will be describing graphs, charts, and tables, diagrams, etc. So you can check out the video in the link that I have listed there, and that will help you to learn what you need to know about task 1 of the academic training writing module if you have never written it before and you are new to taking the IELTS examination. So in today's lesson, we are going to be describing a table. This is a sample task 1 question, and the table gives information on consumer spending on different items in 5 different countries. In the year 2002, you are to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. You are expected to write at least 150 words. So that means any number of words between the range 150 to 250 will be very good. However, if you write less than 150 words, you run a risk of getting below band 7. That's the question, and that's the table you'll be describing. This is a clearer version. So in the table, the percentage of national consumer expenditure by category in the year 2002 is presented. The various categories are the food, drinks, tobacco, clothing, footwear, leisure versus education, and the 5 countries there are Ireland, Italy, Sweden, Spain, and Turkey. Now, the questions here again says that the table gives information on consumer spending. You are to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where necessary. I always give my students this work plan for their task 1. So in the introductory part, the introduction, you want to summarize, you want to introduce the whole essence of the question, to introduce what you are going to be describing to the examiner. So the introduction or introductory paragraph serves the function to introduce the examiner, to tell the examiner in summary, in a nutshell, what the table or graph or chart you are describing is. You have to be able to look at the information and summarize it succinctly in no more than 2 to 3 words, 2 to 3 sentences, I beg your pardon. Your introduction should be minimum of 2 sentences. and maximum of 3 sentences. Now, do not make these mistakes when you write your introduction. Firstly, don't write an introduction that has just 1 sentence, as is the case here. This introduction just has 1 sentence. A paragraph cannot be made up of just 1 sentence. It has to have about 2 sentences. And the second mistake is to avoid lifting whole phrases from the paragraph, from the question. Avoid lifting whole phrases. What do I mean? For example, these percentages of national expenditure was lifted directly from here. Look at it. Percentage of national expenditure look at that. Percentage of national expenditure was lifted directly from there, and that's not good. See, can you see percentage of national expenditure? Look at it. Percentage of national expenditure. So you can see that percentage of national expenditure was lifted here, and here you have percentages of national expenditure. That's not a good thing to do. So you don't want to lift whole phrases. Another thing is your use of synonyms. Here you see information here. There's information here. Look at it. And here there's information here, whereas you could have replaced it with a synonym. Say data. Data is a synonym for information, right? You can just say data instead of writing information again. Another mistake is having when you want to paraphrase and give an overview of the question, you don't want to write the word in such a way that write the sentence in such a way that each word will still find itself in the same position. Look at here. Information is on position 4. Here too, it is on position 4. Can you see? Position 4. That's poor paraphrasing. So you want to ensure that you shift the word order around and you use synonyms. These are characteristics of good paraphrasing. So that you are saying the same thing in your own words. You are expressing the information in the question in your own words by shifting the word order around, right? By shifting the word order around, you want to shift the word order around, and you also want to ensure that you use synonyms where appropriate. So these are the mistakes for this particular introduction. Don't make such mistakes. Moving on still. So the table provides information on the percentages of national expenditure in Ireland. This is what my student has written. This part is what my student has written. And this the lower section is here is the corrected portion. Yeah, I corrected it. So here is how I corrected it. I said the table compares the 5 highest ranking countries in terms of percentage money spent by consumers. you can see that in this sentence, from the table compares the 5 highest ranking countries in terms of percentage money spent by consumers on various products in 3 categories for the year 2002. In the question, we have in the question we have what? Consumer items, but I have used various products. Can you see that? Let me erase that. I have used various products, and I did not really have to outline the names of each of the countries because they are already in the table. Like I said earlier, it's just like repetition. So you can see the way that first sentence has been rewritten in red ink, and then I added a second sentence. My students just wrote, it is seen that the category of consumer item that all the countries spent most of their money on was on food, drinks, and tobacco, which was higher than the 2 other items over the same period. And what I see here is that the students has repeated consumer items still on the paragraphs. You can see this is consumer item here. This is also another consumer item. Let's mark this blue. This is another consumer item here. Can you see? Consumer item. You know, this just tells the examiner that you lack vocabulary. Yeah, it just tells the examiner that the student lacks vocabulary. And you are repeating phrases or words without you shouldn't repeat phrases or words too many times. So I see consumer item twice in the introduction because this second sentence is the next sentence for that makes the second sentence in the introduction, right? So this has been reconstructed using a linking word. This is the linking word. Look at the linking word, overall. That gives your work cohesion. These are called linking devices, right? So that you are not just writing sentences that do not have a wide range of sentence structure. By writing overall and putting it in red ink, the areas that you see in red ink are my corrections. What you see in black ink are the students write-up. These are the students write-up. What you see in red are my own corrections. Yeah, so overall it is clear that all the countries spent the largest percentage of their money on food, drinks, and tobacco. If you come back to the table here, you can see that majority, all the countries spent the majority of their money. This is the part where they spent all their monies on food, drinks, and tobacco. Compare it to these other parts and leisure. You can see that That's why it's highlighted in red. So once you look at the question, it's easy for you to quickly summarize and make sure that no information is left out without repeating yourself severally. Now, the second sentence, which tells us that overall, that is overall, or the most of the, look at it, overall, the most amount was spent on food, drinks, and tobacco. But you see that Turkey spent the highest. Turkey spent the highest on food, drinks, and tobacco. You see that there you have 32.14% was the amount of the highest percentage compared to others which had, who just spent what do we have, compared to the others who just spent less than 30%. Can you see? You can see less than 30% on food, drinks, and tobacco. So that's why you have here that, however, consumer expenditure in this category was highest in Turkey within the same period, that's within the year. That's why in the question you see that they indicated in 2002, right? That's from the original question. You can see this is the year 2002 that was written there. Can you see? So within that same period, most of the countries spent the highest percentage of their money on consumer items in the category of food, drinks, and tobacco. But in the case of clothing, footwear, leisure, and education, you can see that they didn't spend much. Yeah, so that ends that introduction, which answers that part of the question that says summarize the information. Now the next paragraph will talk about selecting and reporting the main features. They said what? Select and report the main feature. Look at it. Select. They say select and report the main feature. Let's see that here. So you want to select and report the main features. That's what we are going to do in the next paragraph. Okay? But I will pause this video lesson here, and when I see you in the next lesson, we will continue with the summary with the write-up, the vetting, and the correction. You should attempt to write your own introductory paragraph of no more than 2 sentences for this particular essay question, or look for another question on table, describing a table. Yes, that's what you should do. Look for another question on describing a table, and apply what you have learned. You should post your work to all the WhatsApp platforms or the Telegram channel. And I'll see you in the next lesson. My name is Banke Adeusi, and I am the professional teacher who helps you achieve your learning goals by breaking down hard concepts into simple, easy to understand learning points in a fun, relaxed, engaging, and learner-focused atmosphere. I'll see you in the next lesson. Stay safe. Cheers.